checked out. It's odd to see an ice cream van floating about at midnight, isn't it? You know what I mean? So we always got stopped. But he lent us that a couple of times, and we borrowed bits and pieces of various people, like every band does, you know. You're just desperate to get there and hit your instrument. You don't care if you get paid, if it's good or not. Yeah, I want to go. I remember being sick in the car on the way home in Alan Lancaster's brother's car, and I had to wash it out the following morning. It's true. Yeah, one of those yellow and black consoles or whatever they were at the time. Very modern. Oof, posh.
So when did you... 64, I've got down here, was when you met your first manager?
Oh no, we must have met him in '62 because he was at that gig. Mind he was a plumber or gas fitter, depending how you look at it. No, we knew him from '62 onwards. He got a partner in. I'm going to jump forward now. Watch this. In '68, yeah, he met a guy who went into partnership with him, and from '68 was the first time we'd heard of Colin Johnson. And he tried to sign us to Arthur House for agency at the time, or sign us to somebody for agency. No, NIMS. And our managers, who were as green as we were, had already signed us to Arthur House, and there was a problem. You know. Eventually, we met up with Colin Johnson again, and he managed us, but back to '64. No, we met our manager in '62.
How about Butlins? 65. Was that a big?
It was at the time. Yeah, it was at the time, because to get. Obviously, many stars, so-called stars, had come out of Butlins, you know. So we're going to Butlins and we're going to come out stars, aren't we? We went there for 3-4 months, I think, in the summer of '65. Did the regular auditions, and they did put you through them, you know. I think we was lucky as anything to get it, because I saw a lot of good stuff at the auditions, and I don't think we were up to it. And they put us in the Pig and Whistle when we got there, and we said, we're not playing in here. We want the Rock and Roll Ballroom, which was one of the worst moves we ever had, because everybody went to the Pig and Whistle. So, hey, Alan Lancaster just kissed me in the back of the head.
You've heard the rumours, haven't you?
Good album.
So one of the things that happened at...
yeah, we got the Butlins.
Butlins?
We got the Butlins, yeah.
Was that... that's where you met Rick, wasn't it?
Yeah, Richard was with the two Harrison twins. He was working in the Gaiety Theatre. Gaiety. Look at his face, because I said gay. And must admit, we were all uncertain of Richard at the time. And we used to go and watch him, he used to come watch us, and he got to know this fella quite well. And eventually he joined in '67.
And then he got to know this fella quite well.
Mm.
And in the end, we could say we all got to know one another very well.
He's bloody perky this morning,
I've
isn't
only just walked in, folks. Sorry about this. You know.
Folks as well.
67, you also, I mean, which was the year Rick joined, that's when you came up with the name The Status Quo.
Yeah, well, we'd gone through a couple of name changes. We went from the Spectres to the Traffic, and at the time Steve Winwood was doing a Traffic. So our manager, who was obviously as well educated as we were, he said, what about Traffic, Jim? So he said, that's a good idea. So we went with that for one single, I think. And again, there was this talk of a name change. And Richard was brought in because we needed a voice. We're still looking for it. And he said, what about Status Quo? We said, yeah, that sounds good. Again, you know, it would be nice to say, I mean, that there was deep hidden meaning and real deep thought behind the name and the choice of the name. It could be a lot more fitting now if we said there was a big story, but no. It's just what he said, what about that? And we said, yeah, straightforward as that, you know. Instead
anything.
Yeah, anything to do. That sounds good.
And what was the difference when Rick joined?
Not a lot.
It's funny when Rick joined.
I had less room on the stage.
Because we really only wanted Rick to join because he was our mate.
We liked him.
You know, we made it a 5-piece when Rick joined. We didn't really need him. And basically, I think the first time he played some gigs with us, had the guitar off most of the time, strumming along with a semi-acoustic electric guitar, and just to be part of it, getting the feel of being on stage with a rock band. But as time went by, of course, you know, it became more and more important.
Because, I mean, it was very soon after he joined that you had Matchstick Men, wasn't it?
Mm.
That's right, yeah. In fact, I don't even think Rick was playing on Matchstick Men.
Yeah, he played a couple of bits in it, because I remember him sitting on the floor playing...
Oh, he was
Gretsch.
in the
Gretsch,
that's right,
yeah.
little Gretsch.
Yeah, but he was brought in for the voice thing, supposedly. And we did our first gig in the Welcome In with him. And what was that band? Episode 6. Remember
that was episode 6? Yeah, Deep Purple. That was it. Roger Glover and Ian Gillan.
Good band.
That was in Charlton, wasn't it?
Was it? Is that Charlton? Is it? Oh, I thought it was an extension of Elton. No, I don't know.
Oh, was it?
One of them.
You can edit this bit out, can't you?
Yeah, you can edit a lot after 4 and finish on the 5.
But I mean, you must have been knocked out with it. I mean, you first hit.
Yeah, that was the point. You build up. When you're young, you think you're looking for success, right? And you think it's going to be something, and it's not. And you still wake up exactly the same the following morning. Everyone treats you the same. You think things are going to change, and they don't. And then I think you realise that to get what you've been looking for, and you've got a lot further to go. I mean, one hit single is, nothing.
I think it's the idea. Everybody thinks you've got to get a lucky break, and when you get a single, I think a band looks at it as the lucky break. They don't realise it's just hard work all the time. The more you put in, the more you get out of it. It's as simple as that. And if you just sit around waiting for that single to bring you success all the time, it just doesn't happen that way. There's no glamour in this business. People see it as glamorous business, show business and all that. The only glamour bit is on the TV when you watch it. They don't see the...
you think there's glamorous there either, is it?
No, it's not even as glamorous there. So.
But back then, when that first record was in the charts, it must have seemed like...
Oh, it was great, yeah, because it was everything. Since me and him had been at school or left school, from the very word go, we're going to be in a group, cool, we're going to make it. It's like it's like a V's up to everybody. We did make it, at least we had a hit single. But it's from then on that you begin to realise.
It hits you hard.
There's a lot more to do. That's why we went downhill, because we weren't prepared. We came out of Butlins and we did all rock and roll stuff at Butlins, like Rock Around the Clock, Hound Dog, a lot of Everly Brothers, Elvis Presley, anything that was rock and roll. And you couldn't get us arrested. You know what I mean? Everyone was in the Pig and Whistle, listening to some Irish band doing the top 10, which we'd pulled ourselves out of. And they came into our bit at about 11 o'clock, and we were finished by 11:15. We were on at 8 and off at 11:15, so they got the last 15 minutes. And we came out of Butlins and couldn't get any work because there was a kind of a soul boom thing had gone on with Ride Your Pony and all that stuff. So we had to do stuff like that to get work at all. And then so the set was full of so-called soul stuff. We have a single go out, which is Matchstick Men, which a lot of people made that thought we were American. Or a guy yesterday interviewed somebody, he swore blind we were Australian. He thought we were Australian, even till this day, like till yesterday. He thought we were Australian. John Peel thought we were American in the beginning. That's why he played us. It's just that image thing at the time. I mean, he admitted it years later. That, you hear something. I'm guilty of that myself a lot. I remember hearing a Christie single, Yellow River. I thought it was wonderful on the radio. Till I see the band on TV and you think, whoops, I'm not supposed to like that. It all goes inside. This image crap comes forward. And so there we are with Matchstick Men, which is total difference from anything we'd done before, be it rock and roll or the soul stuff. And there we're flung out on the road. We're all taken to shops and dressed in certain clothes, because that's the clothes at the time. So we were in a terrible mess of not really being ourselves, didn't know where we were going to go. So I think it was good for us that we went downhill, because then we had to make up our own minds and really struggled to do something.
Because the follow-up didn't exactly set the charts on fire, did it?
No, it didn't.
Ice in the Sun,
No,
it's Black Veils and Melancholy, that's right, yeah. Well, Matchstick Men was really a mistake in the first place.
Thanks.
It was, though, wasn't it? I mean, the way it came about, it was in that psychedelic era, when it's flower power, flowers in your hair and all that business.
Yeah, I knew that.
And sort of getting married in the nude, sort of in hippie communes and all that business. That was the time, We're on the eve of destruction, and along comes pictures of Matchstick Men. And that was really a mistake, because it never meant to turn out like that. We put the phasing on and the wah-wah organ, all that business. It seemed like some big psychedelic number, which that's what it did turn out like. It wasn't like that. It's because we couldn't find anything else to do.
It's the way the end product came out. As I said, and it surprised us and surprised everybody.
So we become super cool to super uncool overnight, basically.
Did we, though?
And Black Veils and Melancholy, of course, when Picture of Matchstick Men was successful, so straight away you think, we've got to follow that light.
Yeah, we'll do that. We got one here, look.
We've got one here.
And then the DJs used to play end to end. They used to play Matchstick Men and go straight into the other one, and oh dear, rotten suds.
So we were on the wrong road.
On the wrong road again.
You know. But we actually got our foot in the door, if you know what I mean. Got it squeezed a bit tight, but we got it in.
It was the best thing for us because after that came Ice in the Sun, which was given to us by Ronnie Scott and Marty Wilde. And Ronnie Scott later wrote It's a Heartache and stuff like that. And he's a tax exile in Portugal now. Good for him, like. They gave us Ice in the Sun, and that was a hit for us. And again, that was a hit in the States, I think.
Yeah, that's the strange thing about it.
Yeah, I think it was really
We were so naive at the time that we didn't even go over to the States and do a tour. I mean, we could have probably broke the States, been rich in a few years and given it all up. Been better off than what we are now.
Oh, you're making me feel terrible.
Instead of that, 20 years later, we're thinking, should we crack the States this year?
I mean, 69 must have been about the worst year of the lot.
It was, because by that time, 68, the whole thing of 68 tailed off. You're into 69, and we had no product. We were given a song that John Schroeder wrote called Are You Growing Tired of My Love? And Richard, the idea was for Richard to try and sing it, to give a different vocalist. And Richard was given a Bee Gees record to listen to.
To sound like the Bee Gees.
That was the idea, really. Put that vocal feel, put that vocal feel in it, you know. That was nearly a hit. And then after that, we started to do stuff more like we were doing in the 60s, 65.
We did our own thing then.
Right on, John. Right on, John.
We did that.
And then we ended up like we are now, in a bloody mess.